Agape, unconditional love. Unconditional love meaning love is the awareness and acceptance of our wholeness. Love is not about feeling. Feelings are response to something. Love is a state of being that is non-judgmental. The second judgment comes in, there's no love. This is what we teach, how to better self-love through conscious living. Because here's the key, until you can love yourself, you cannot love another. The more you love yourself, the more you can love others, the more you can love life. So it's always about self-discovering who you truly are, that you're so much more than this mind, you're so much more than this body, you're so much more than this past, you're so much more than the limiting beliefs that you've created for yourself. So I'm just going to share with you that we teach the science of mind and we teach meditation, and you can use it however you choose, with whatever religion or non-religion you choose. It's a practical way of living. So with that in mind, let's go into meditation for just a short period to calm our minds, to bring us into a space where we can freely hear today's message and how it might impact us if we were to embody it. So, if I could ask you, please bring yourself into a comfortable seated upright position. Your back is straight, hands gently resting on your lap. Close your eyes and bring your awareness to your breath. Freely breathing in and out of your heart. With every breath, your heart opens, and when it releases the breath, it releases anything that stops you from love. It releases anything within you that could cause you to enter into judgment. You are literally becoming the observer of your life and of life in its all grandeur. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Your heart knows you better than any other person, anything. And your heart is the filter through which thoughts come in. So think about life through your third eye, which is infinite intelligence, which is your intuitive nature, and take whatever information comes from your third eye, from the infinite, let it be filtered through your heart. And when it's filtered through your heart, you know it is right for you. You know it is right because it feels so natural. When something doesn't feel natural, most likely it's not heart-centered. And we're here in this still, quiet place to awaken ourselves to the heart-centeredness that is the basis of living a fulfilling and meaningful life. If you could choose anything, to be anything, to experience anything, and it is expansive, what would it be? Who would you have to become to do that? Who would you be with? What would you do? What would you feel? Embrace that your true nature is always expanding, always seeking to experience more. It's your natural DNA. You have been given the freedom to choose again, to choose again, to choose again, without limitation. Embody your freedom and choose the most expansive you that you can imagine. And then choose the you that's even more expansive than that. Allow these questions to become the basis of how you live every day. And as you do so, life will expand through you, in you, and as you, because it's its nature. And as life, unique, whole, and perfect which you are, bring your awareness back to this time, to this place, to this day. And when you're ready, open your eyes, put a smile on your face, and become fully present in this now. So today, I want to talk about how do we find freedom? And that's a real interesting concept in today's world, because I've come to understand that the number one value that every human being on the planet shares is the value to be free. But we have different definitions of freedom. For me, freedom is the ability to be whoever I decide to become. And what I know is you and I are always free to be whoever we decide to become. No one limits our choices. The only one who limits our choices is us. So we can constantly choose and choose again and choose again and choose again. There's no punishment. There's no reward. True freedom is how the mind perceives life. Your perceptions determine the level of freedom that you have. You may have perceptions about life, let's say with money, that you can only make $50,000 a year. Are you free? No, your perception has put you in prison. But you're free to choose again and choose a whole new perception that I'm worth $100 an hour. Well, that's cool. $100,000 an hour and working 2,000 hours a year, you're now making what? 200,000? Why not? Why wouldn't you want that? You can have anything you want. Depends on what you perceive. Understanding the basis of life is the foundation of reclaiming our freedom. Everything we experience, everything we're going through is to get us to understand that we're free to continue to choose what we're choosing, or we're free to choose something completely different. Life doesn't care. Life simply gives to us who we are, and who we are is the basis of what we choose. And we are free to choose. Understand that there is one infinite intelligence, which is the source of all that exists. It is not a being. I call it consciousness, infinite mind, spirit. You can call it God if you choose, but realize it is not a being. It is infinite intelligence, and there's only one of it. And with it, it's the source of everything. It created me out of it. It created you out of it. We're still a part of it because that's all there is. Each of us is a unique piece of the puzzle of life. And we get to change our shape to be in the puzzle at a greater and greater weight, should we choose. Our own lack of understanding about who we are and the creative power within us is the only source of undesirable conditions and situations. You see, when we don't understand that our thoughts create, when we don't understand that our beliefs are creating our life, we open up to being victims. We believe we're being moved upon, when in retrospect, nothing's moving upon us. It's our mental atmosphere. It's what we've embodied. So if you're listening to the news, if you're listening to society today, it's bombarding you with ideas and you're blindly accepting them, and you're blindly accepting limiting ideas, limiting visions of the future, and because you're buying into it, it becomes your experience. I call that the law of averages, because you're creating an average experience based on everything that's being said around you. Let me tell you a secret. You were never meant to be average. You were born to be unique and expansive. That's your true nature, unique and forever eternally expanding. When we increase our understanding of our innate nature, then and only then are we able to grow out of our ignorance and create a fulfilling life. Our innate nature is that we're not limited. Our innate nature is we are the infinite, individualized, unique and whole, here to express and to expand, and all the wisdom and all the power of the infinite responds through us based on what we believe. And when we understand that's our innate nature, we now are very selective in the words we choose, and we examine our beliefs to see if they truly do serve us. You see, in order to claim and experience our freedom, bigger and more expansive ideas are needed to free ourselves from the limitations imposed by our past thinking. That's right, our past thinking, our memories, create limitations. And when we can think bigger and more expansive ideas, we free ourselves from the past. We free ourselves from being in a box of limitation. So the idea is, build habits that allow you to create and think more expansive ideas. Surround yourself with people that challenge you to create a bigger expression and experience of life. Surround yourself with people who encourage you to go beyond your limited boundaries that you're experiencing right now. My wife constantly says to me, Lee, are you limiting yourself or are you expanding yourself? And that's really the key. Love is always about expansion. Hatred, fear are always about contraction. Hatred and fear are the exact opposites of love. We're not here to hate and fear. We're here to love, to grow, to expand in our unique abilities and to honor the unique abilities of others so that they can expand and grow. You see, in Science of Mind we teach there is one creative power back of all things, a power that cannot be divided against itself. When we understand this, we find that what we experience is the result of how we are using this power. We're not using an individual power within us. We're using the one creative power back of all things. And if you understand that, you realize there is no limitation to the experience that we can create. And so we become conscious about what we think. We become conscious about the beliefs and how they're demonstrating. And we examine them to see if they're serving us, if they're serving us to live a more expansive life. Understanding we are the source of our experience frees us so that we can become conscious creators. We no longer see ourselves as victims, but rather we see ourselves as creators with no limitation. Freedom is why we're here. Freedom to experience, to express as much as we can imagine with no limitation. This is the freedom that I love. I want the freedom to speak, because when I speak, I know I create. When we embrace our power and truly understand that we're 100% responsible for our life experience, we become exceedingly careful about what we allow to enter and what we maintain in our consciousness. Why hold on to anything that is limiting? I believe at my age, my beautiful age of 72, that I can do anything. I am not limited by it. I see results of that all the time, and how I carry myself and how I live that is different from anyone near my age. I see that in the gym. I see that in life. I see that when I'm hiking in the mountains in the Himalayas. I see that when I'm in the jungles of Peru. I see that when I'm traveling in Italy. I embrace the power in me and understand that I am 100% responsible for my experience. And so are you. Here's a key thing though. I'm not responsible for your experience. You are. Get that? I have one responsibility, mine. You have one responsibility, yours. The greater you can be, the greater example in life you are, you will impact others. The universal law of creativity frees us from whatever we choose to let go of, as it does not care about our past, only who we are now. So many people will talk to me and say, Lee, I can't do that because of my past. Well, that's a limiting thought. You don't understand that the universal law, the law that creates everything, doesn't give a flip about your past. It only cares about who you are in this moment. So you've got to learn, we've got to learn to let go of the past and embrace the new image of ourselves. Live it, speak it, think it, feel it, act from it with everything we've got, because that's our power. And we come back to the main teaching of Agape. Nothing changes until you change, because everything begins and ends with you. If you enjoyed this message and you want to plug into more of what we do at Agape, go to agapespiritualcenter.com, click on the calendar or the events tab, and find out all of the offerings. Almost all of our offerings are virtual and online. We are a worldwide spiritual community with a physical, in-person presence in North Texas. But we don't limit ourselves to just a building. We don't even have a building. We rent a hall because we understand being transient to serve more and more people is the new way of living. And if this message served you, make a donation. Continue understanding the law of circulation. If you receive something, give something back. We take your gifts with such love, and we find ways to spread this message to greater and greater and greater numbers of people. Right now, we have a beautiful young lady who's plugged into our community that's going to be doing our newsletters. She's in Tunisia, in Northern Africa. Isn't that amazing? The young lady who's working on our website, she's in Florida. I'm in Texas. The world has changed. You can be a part of a worldwide community. Go to the website, find out all the things, find out something that you like, plug in. You'll find such a community waiting here to support you. I want to thank you for taking your time out of your busy life to work on you. And I hope that this message, if you choose, will benefit you as you step into the greater you that you've chosen to be. Just continue to be great. It's your choice. It's also your destiny.